Hi, we're going to be talking about IFC today, and I want to point out a few important things about saving an IFC file. The first thing is that if I go to my view map here, this is a remodel project I'm helping out on, I have a view saved in the view map so that I have the correct content, I've got the correct layer combination, view settings, renovation filter, so that I know the model is going to save out properly. I can come in here to the view settings for that and note that this is not using the correct layer combination. So I'm going to, let's see, IFC for structural. That's going to define a new set of layers. So you notice the site goes off. For the purposes of this exercise, I'm just going to export it with all my layers on. The next thing I want to note is that elements are set up correctly, and this should be done when you're modeling it through the use of correct favorites. But if I look at, for example, I have this piece of steel cable railing, the element classification is defined as railing, so I know that's going to save out correctly to IFC, and it should import correctly with whatever tool is importing the model. It has a correct element ID, so it's easily identifiable in whatever program will be viewed in. It's defined structural function is set to non-load bearing, which is correct. It is an exterior piece, and it has a renovation filter. So that's all set up correctly. Various other, if I look at another example of a beam, this beam is a trim joint. It's defined as a covering. It's also non-load bearing and it has an ID, etc. The porch beams, just sort of the third option, are defined as a beam. ID is porch beam, load bearing element, and its position is exterior. As far as element classification, Bond Bryan Architects, if you look at a link in the description here on this video, has a great breakdown of what different element classifications can and should be defined as in ArchiCAD. But once you've got all of that set up, it's really just as simple as setting up a view in your view map so you have the correct layer combination, etc., like I mentioned before. If I go to my publisher set now, and let me just go up to my publisher sets here, and I have an IFC to Revit Publisher Set. Notice there's nothing in here, so I'm going to bring up my organizer here, and we're going to populate this with the correct folder. So again, IFC to Revit in the right hand column, my view map in the left hand column. I'm going to add a shortcut. That shortcut is actually really important, and I'll show you why. If I go back to my view map here, for example, and let's say I change the zoom, or let's say I adjust the layer combination and right click and save current view, and we'll call this just test as an example. So now I have another 3D view saved in here. That automatically populates here because this has been placed as a shortcut. So I'm going to pull that out of here. Sorry, one more time. Pull it out of here. And go back to my organizer and pull this folder in so that I have that shortcut. And then from here, all I need to do is publish this 3D view that I saved out. There are a few things that I do want to check here, and that's that I am in fact saving it out as an IFC file, that I am using the exact geometry export option. And if I go to the translator settings here for exact geometry, and I go to the geometry conversion, notice that all of these are set to BREP, and that's basically just saying that the geometry will be represented as it's exactly shown here. That's really important when you're saving out to Revit in my experience, because Revit doesn't always read some of the modeling tools that ArchiCAD has, things like associated trimming bodies like solid element operators or the merge function, don't always translate very well to Revit. Also, complex profiles don't always translate to Revit. So by using the BREP settings, you're going to get a more accurate appearance on your model. It's going to be represented properly. And from here, all you have to do is define a location, go to Publishing Properties, and we're just going to drop this on the desktop, and we're going to say OK, and simply hit Publish. You also have the option to just do a file save as, and these translator settings and file formats are all available from the save as option. I hope this was helpful, and hope you're able to do a little bit more successful model collaboration from now on with your consultants through IFC.